Thank you so much, Professor Patel and Dr. Chimobi, who has hosted our first session. We now have the first panel, the students panel, and I hand over to Abby, who is online. She had to go for her field work to Nigeria, but thank you so much, Abby, for doing this online. Shall I hand it over to you? Will you be able to take over? Just have a look.
Yes, good morning, Olivia. Can you hear me loud and clear?
We can hear you loud and clear, yes.
Oh, fantastic. So, welcome everyone to the Postgraduate Research Students Panel discussion. To introduce the different panelists to you, we'll be talking about the challenges and opportunities that they've experienced during their PGR journey. Really, it's going to be through reflection and shared learning. And as I call them up, I will please ask that they come to the stage and take a seat. So the first panelist joining us is Lin Tian. Her topic is on green building management. She's in her third year, and she's a full-time student, and she's in the faculty of the Institute of Energy and Sustainable Development. Lin Tian, please can you come up and take a seat on the stage? The second panelist is Ahmad Ali. His topic is on developing and managing nature. He's nature-based infrastructure projects through digital twinning. He's in his first year and he's a part-time student, and his faculty is a hybrid between Institute of the Energy and Sustainable Development and Institute of Artificial Intelligence. Welcome on board, Ahmed Ali. The third panelist is Ogendi Anika. Her topic is on bioadditives for sustainable energy production. She's in her second year of research. She's a full-time student, and she's in the faculty of the Institute of Energy and Sustainable Development. Please welcome Ogendi Anika. Now, the fourth but not the last panelist is Reem Bashir. Now, Reem's topic is on machine learning-based effective detection technique of emerging automobile cybersecurity incidents. Now, she's in her second year, and she's a part-time student, and she's in the Faculty of Computer Science. Please welcome Reem Bashir.
Can you hear us, Abby?
PGR students as well. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. If there's a difficulty with the network, if you want to switch off your camera, you can.
Okay, let me try switching off my camera to avoid disruption.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I'm Abimbola Okoye. You can call me Abby. I'm a PGR student, and I'll be moderating this session with Lipika. So Lipika will come in case there are any technological disruptions. Now, welcome on board, panelists. This is not a quiz. This is really for us to share our learning, so please relax and settle in. So I'm going to go through a couple of questions. Please try and be short and sweet. The main thing is just to get the real interactions out. So I'm going to start with Lynn, then I'll go through all the way to Rim. So the first question is, when you first started your PGR journey, what was your expectation when you started, and has it been met so far?
Actually, when I started my PGR the first year, I really want to do some big things, because I want to think about my research can change the world even. And I think my research must be the contribution for all of the world. But when I'm doing the more things, I feel like, oh my God, it's too big. It's too challenging for me. So that's why I told my supervisor that, bring in here, my supervisor in here. So I told my supervisor that either my research is can we become a big one? My supervisor said, you don't need to change the world actually. You just give some suggestion from your opinion, from your academical thinking, critical thinking, to tell the people how you're feeling. It's not like your research must be change the world. So that's why I realized, should be like the not too big, but not too small, but give the critical thinking for the people. So this is my first year. I learned from my supervisor and learned from the research journal. So this is my answer.
Thank you so much for that. Now we'll move on to Ahmad.
I think for my first year it was, because first year mainly is about literature reviewing and going through the knowledge about the field and all that. So I thought it's going to be like an easy process. I can just swipe through the literature and manage to get something like 3-4 months. But as soon as I start doing it, I found like, no, I need to research more. I found the topic, no, I need to read more about it and get deep into it. So it's just kind of a point that you need to know where's the cutoff point, and enough is enough, and then move forward from that. But
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you for that. Ogandi?
Well, Lynn has actually hit the nail on the head. I came with the same idea that, yes, I'm going to change the world, but I've come to understand that you don't need to do a very big thing. Just do something, small thing in your specific field that will contribute to knowledge. And that was my initial expectation. I was coming to bulldozer the world with my research, but in the end, I've been able to learn to manage my expectations, and it's been a learning curve for me.
Fantastic. Rim?
So for me, because I'm a part-time student, when I start, I'm also working like full-time job in the same time working as a part-time student. So I came also like, yeah, it's going to be easy to do it. It's going to be easy to work full-time job at the same time doing the PhD. So what I started is, when I started, I said like, I'm going to finish it in 4 years instead of 6 years, because yeah, I can do it, why not? But then when I started, I felt like, yeah, there is a literature review. I have to do a lot of literature review, and the literature review for me was like the big.
Sometimes speaking out or doing other things. So I want to ask Professor Hibbert, what do you suggest they can do, especially now in the UK, with all that's coming in the autumn, how they can help their supervisors, because they have power that we don't have.
I mean, supervisors do have power, and there are hierarchies in universities. No doubt about it. I mean, I have to say though, that, be honest, I remember going back to my own doctoral days. I was the doctoral representative, and I knocked on the head of department's door and said, it's fine we're being paid hourly to give tutorials, but no one pays us an office hour. We're meant to set aside an hour a week to greet students, but no one pays us for it. And I didn't have the courage myself, so I got 2 other students to come with me, okay? And we got that office hour payment. Okay, we were very proud of ourselves. It was about £10, but we were very proud. So I think, I think you've got to organise. You've got to have a strong PhD body. You've got to not be afraid to actually go to your PhD coordinator, and I'm a PhD coordinator, and actually tell them if there are things that need rectifying. In terms of the worries for the future, I think, yes, I think we always have worries, and I think perhaps we always did have worries as well. The casualisation of the sector is not new. It was taking place certainly, 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago. Whether it's more now, perhaps it is. I still think there are opportunities there, but one cannot ignore, ideas that you can teach for £20 in London today as being anything other than plain crazy. It's if you're an average person who's got rent to pay, energy bills to pay, I'm afraid that really is not good enough. So I don't know whether I've answered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good invitation to me. You have more questions?
I think Chris is just putting the questions there.
Yeah, please, if there are online questions, what's that?
No, I think it's just a
Just a recap for those watching
Oh, okay.
what the questions were, that was
Okay.
all. So I don't know if you have any more.
Oh,
Yes?
two more questions. Please.
In order to continue the professor's question,
Yeah.
during into the current situation, how important is the publication and the teaching opportunity? Because
Oh, it's fair. The thing that worries me at the moment is the general situation. That it seems that with COVID, with the current standoff between Russia, China, Europe, but we seem to be de-globalisation at the moment. There seems to be a process where actually it's more difficult to travel, it's more difficult to interact with certain countries, and that worries me because I think I've certainly been a recipient of globalisation and a beneficiary of that. So the general situation slightly worries me. In terms of the fundamentals, first thing you look when you see a CV for a position is you look at their publication records, their income bearing record, and their teaching record vis-a-vis with the spec, with the job spec. So I'm always someone who very closely sticks to the job specification. Okay, and therefore my advice always there is if you don't feel you fit the job specification, don't apply, because I'm someone who looks very closely at that, and I tick boxes saying they meet that requirement, they meet that requirement, and perseverance. I think that, again, I went for job interviews, everywhere. And, you had to go from Scotland right down to Falmouth in Cornwall. Wow. For how many hours, 10 hours on the train or whatever it was, and then I had to come back and it quickly got a rejection. And, you've got to pick yourself up. A resilience is needed in academia, which I'm sure everyone has because it's actually a process of PhD as well. But the fundamentals, I think, are still very much the same. Maybe preference of journals over books. Obviously, tier 1 and tier 2 journals. Make sure you know what you're publishing in, where it ranks. Because you'll be graded on that in terms of job opportunities. But there's no doubt that softer skills as well. I mean, if you're networking, if you know a professor, if you've written with someone, there's no doubt that academia has its own internal networks.
Some of the persons that were in the lab upstairs where I was using their equipment told me it took them like close to 1 year to develop their method. I was like, no, that's you, not me. But in the end, it took me like 12 months to finally develop a method that now works for my substrate and my work. So, like I said earlier, I've learned to manage my expectations, and I've also learned from the support available in Chem to strike a balance between spending hours in the lab and also having some social life. So, thank you.
Thank you. So we also have Wayne.
For me, I think same as Dream, what she said, time management. It was a huge obstacle, really. But I can add to it with something. In the university, we have so many resources that are available for us, especially for us as researchers. But we don't know much of them, and it's a bit difficult to know which is the suitable tool for you to have. We have access to it. Do we have access to it or not? And in most cases, I end up finding that yes, we do have it. We do have access to it, but it takes a long time to get to know to this point. So something that we can really look into it.
Thank you. Lynn?
Actually, I feel the main things like how you manage your emotion. So first year, I saw every first year PhD students, the eyes have the light, you know what I mean? The fully light in the eyes. But when the second year, third year, I saw the people every day is so tired. I said, Lynn, I gonna die. Lynn, I feel so tired. Lynn, I'm so exhausted, like Organdi. I remember Organdi first time to meet me said, Lynn, let's do something. Lynn, let's do some research. But since now, I said, Lynn, I do don't know my feeling now. I just want to die. I said, okay, again, this is no more things for PhD students. First year, you always have the light. I mean, in your eyes, especially also like our office groups, like the Osan. He also like first year. I remember he's so handsome, really fully handsome boys in our office. But when the third year, I told her, Osan, why you change a lot? Why your face is like why? What's wrong with you? I said, Lin, this is normal. So that's why I think research is like keep your emotional and be positive and make your eyes have the light. I mean, at least the first thing we are doing is right. So this is my
Thank you so much for that. That was very insightful. So we'll go on to the next question. I'm going to start with you, Lynn. Do you have a key moment of achievement where you were able to accomplish something you did not think possible during your PhD journey?
So it's me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Lynn.
Okay. I think the first very important things for me is like I have a good supervisor team. This is really, I appreciate. It's like my supervisor train me is not like only for the students. They train me as like a doctor. They train me like a family members. I still remember the second year lockdown time. So many people disappear from my life. But I feel so happy and so really appreciate my supervisor stay with me every time. I mean, every 2 weeks they contact with me, and even we don't discuss about the research, and they still discuss about my feeling, tell me how I hold on, and give me the suggestions. So that's why this is the first things I feel like. Before I never think I can keep the good relationship with my supervisor like this style, but now I feel like so lucky. And then the second time is DMU Showcase. I think most people know me from DMU Showcase. Even today, I come to here and I just introduce myself, say, okay, my name is Lin. So many people say, oh, I know you. I said, oh, did I know you? I'm sorry, I couldn't remember you. And I say, oh, because you are in the DMU Showcase, you present some things. Like, oh, I see. But before, I never think DMU Showcase can give me like this energy from DMU Showcase. So before, I never think I can have the prize in the showcase. So this is I feel like I overcome. And the third thing is like today. I think today is my third thing is like I overcome and achievement the main things in today. So I feel so happy I can present my experience. I mean, as a third year, I never think as an international student and my English is not very well. But now I can present some things in front of you guys. So that's why I think this is my achievement.
Ahmad?
Yeah, so I think one of the most important things, as Kim mentioned earlier about key achievements, is to really know what's realistic and what can be done during this time frame, because we are not going to change and make a huge, big, massive change in the field. It's a small footprint that we're going to add. So knowing that, knowing the expectations, knowing the limitations that are there, and what can be achieved within this time frame is the key point really in that.
Thank you. Again, Debbie?
Okay, for me, I just had a major breakthrough last month, and I'm sorry to say that I actually broke down when immediately I got that major breakthrough. Like I broke down flat out, which was because I realized I didn't take care of my health because I was really under pressure. The problem was that there was a particular equipment that I was supposed to use to develop my method, and it happened that every time we queue up to use the equipment, and every time it got to my turn, the equipment breaks down. And to a point, someone said, "Are you sure you're not jinxed?" And that really got to me. I was like, no, I'm not jinxed, and I'm going to prove to everybody I'm not jinxed. So I kept on trying, and eventually it happened that it got to my turn again to use, because every time it breaks down, I have to go and start experiment again because I need the samples fresh to run it on the experiment. So when it got to my turn again, this time around, the equipment did not break, and because of that, because of the fear that it may break again, and I've not yet developed the method, I pushed myself to the point of breaking, which actually my supervisory team reprimanded me on, but they were really happy because in the end I got the results I was actually looking for. So that is the major breakthrough in my research, because without that I'm not sure.
Glad I have all these problems and all these obstacles now in the beginning, because now in the future I know that if I get it, then I will know how to overcome it and how can I like just to manage through it, and how can I get out from there and just continue with my research. So that's the main thing.
Fantastic. So now staying with you, Raymond, starting from you, I'm going to ask the final question, which is, based on your learnings, what advice would you give a first-year PhD student who's just starting?
That's a big question. I would say that talk to your supervisors. I came from background that if you go to the supervisor, you have to give them just the review and that's it. But no, talk to your supervisors. They are here to help you. They are your friend. And last week, my supervisor said to me, like, I'm here to help you, Rim. I'm not here to judge you. So that was like a big thing for me. You have to talk to them. You have to tell them if you have any obstacles. You have to tell them like why you're doing, why you're not doing, where you find obstacles and all this stuff. And they will help me. And the second is back up your stuff, because yeah, you will gonna lose them one day or another. So please back up your data. And that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, I would try to remind everybody the first thing I had during my orientation. It was online back home when I was in Nigeria. So because of the pandemic, we were allowed to do registrations and induction online. Professor Mark Lemon, I will never forget, said something. I just had it down, but I just recently went back to it after I broke down and I looked at it, because that was the key thing he said. PhD is a process. Please enjoy the process. I forgot it entirely. I forgot that 2 years has gone and I've not really had much fun as I should have. I only just put my eyes on the work. I need to get results. I need to get results. Please, I beg you, enjoy the process. And if possible, try to do something. A friend of mine who I met as a PhD student, who has actually defended, pushed me to do something I've never done in my life. I've been daring to do, to actually start something that I'm excited about now, to ride a bicycle. Because when I came to the UK, everyone is riding a bicycle. Back home, nobody rides a bicycle. It's either you trek or you just drive a car or you go into a bus. It's something that when I came, I was like, bicycle is not for me, I'll just keep jumping the bus. But I'm happy that after I broke down and they said, no, we're going to make sure you have fun. They're like, what would you like to do? I was like, okay, I'd like to finally learn a bicycle you all have been talking about. And I'm really excited. Like, I was able to actually move the bicycle on Saturday. Like, move it practically. So please just enjoy the process. Don't just be focused on getting results and then have a boring PhD life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmad.
Yeah, I think I can add to this. Most of undergraduate students, when someone comes from undergraduate studies, think about the relationship between them and their supervisors as line managers. Here in the university we have great supervisors, but in a PhD the relationship is more friendly. Maybe at the beginning can be like this, but later on it gets to be as co-workers and the way they treat you. And most of the supervisors here are really great, and thank God I had a wonderful 2 supervisors. So the main point, choose wisely, because it's not just about academic. You're going to still research and dig into it, but it's also about the relationship that you'll have with them. Yeah.
Thank you. Lynn?
Let me keep the summary of the experience and also with my third year experience. Be yourself, be brave, be positive, trust your supervisor, and keep your eyes have a light. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, thank you. So before we wrap up this session, I don't know, do you have any final words that you have to share for either fellow students, supervisors, or the administrators?
Keep the light.
Yeah, keep the light. Keep the light. Keep your light, turn on your light. Yeah. And trust your supervisor. Yeah. These are all the things.
Any other words?
For me, I know there'll be highs and there'll be lows. Just learn to manage your expectations. For me, I came and I believe that it's going to be all highs. There'll be highs and there'll be lows. Just know that, and just always try to reach out to people when you're struggling. Most importantly, like they've all emphasized, your supervisory team. I don't know what I would have done without my supervisors. They are like they treat me like I'm part of their family. So, like I think someone said it here, they treat you like part of their family. I don't know, DMU has that culture because I've spoken to other PhD students in different schools in the UK here. When I explain to them how my supervisor treats me like family, they're like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yes." So reach out when you're struggling. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other words?
Have fun enjoying the progress and the process in total.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Should I?
Thank you. Okay, so if there are no other comments, I would like to wrap up. Okay?
Yes, please, Abby.
So are there any other comments before I wrap up?
No, please go ahead and wrap up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we've had a highly engaging session with my fellow PGR students. And as you can see, they're coming from different faculty and different experiences. Now, they've said a lot of things, but one thing I've noticed is that, from when at the beginning, they're saying that, they come up with lofty ideas and dreams about changing the world, and then from there, they now have to manage the expectations and see that, no dream is too big or too small. And then they also have to realize that they have to know their cutoff point, so know what they can handle and manage expectations. Some have also said that they can start by doing something small, so contributing in a little way to knowledge. And then some mentioned that gradually from their literature review, they're taking baby steps in terms of developing their work. They've had a lot of challenges along the way, but then they've said that in managing their challenges, they take 1 hour a day at least, to do some of their research, as one of the panelists has said. Some are saying put in some deadlines and don't postpone the deadline. If not, you'll keep postponing it. And some said that, you need to have a balance between academia and also having a social life, as well. So striking a balance between academia and the social life. Then you also need to develop a method to suit yourself and your own sustenance. That's also key. And manage expectations, especially your own expectations. Now, there have been some challenges mentioned about accessing data, which we will look at. And then also with regards to managing emotions, especially our own, because we need to ensure that we are positive, and most importantly, we continue to see the light in our eyes, which is very critical. Now, in terms of overcoming some of these challenges, one is with regards to having a good relationship with our supervisors. That is very key. We also need to keep on participating in activities such as this one, so that we can build our confidence in terms of overcoming obstacles, because some of these obstacles are actually in our minds. And then knowing what is realistic, and also knowing what can be achieved, and then striking that balance. But most importantly, in achieving results, remembering to take care of ourselves and take care of our health. Then finally, in terms of advice that we're giving people starting their PGR journey, we need to ensure that you manage a relationship with your supervisors, talk to your supervisors, build relationships with your supervisors. And then ensure that you back up your data, because you're spending so much time developing data. You need to ensure you back up that data. Then in terms of your work, ensure that you enjoy the process and have fun. It's an experience, it's a journey, not a marathon. It's a journey. And then ensure that you continue to build relationships with your supervisor. I mentioned that earlier, but they said in the beginning it might be frosty, it might be a line manager relationship, then it moves on gradually to a co-worker relationship, which is also critical. But remember, be positive, be yourself, and ensure to always turn on your lights. Now, turn on your lights. So as I wrap up, I like to say that this session has shown us that we need to have a collective mindset where we have collective ownership and shared learnings. We also need to realize that we are not alone in this PhD journey, so we need to achieve this together. Thank you so much. Special thanks to our panelists, Lynn, Ahmad, Gelmi, and also Rim. My name is Abimbola Koya. I'm your moderator, and I've been supported by Lipika. And it's been really lovely. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much. Just as we end, again, a huge thank you to these students here. And it actually makes me emotional. I've seen these little children grow actually. And no, seriously, today they have put up such a matured face here, positives and negatives. And it makes you're really brave to come here and speak about both your highs and your lows. So thank you so much, and thank you, Abby, and you have done it brilliantly. And we'll see you throughout the rest of the session, including everyone. So going on.